Okay, today we're going to talk about interior lights. Um, Usually with interior lights, in most cases we're going to be going to a T8 fluorescent light. T8 is linear. T stands for tubular, so it's the tubular shape of light, and eight. The 8 is the diameter in eighths of an inch. And so a T8 is 8/8 of an inch or 1 inch in diameter. What we're replacing, a lot of times facilities will have T12. A T12 is 12/8 of an inch in diameter or 1.5 inches in diameter. So they're the fat old school type of fluorescent. We would be changing those into a T8 fluorescent. That would be in the case of an office that has those. Actually, it could be anywhere where there's a T12. The way that we know, if you can't see the lamp, if it has a lens over it, we like to use our ballast reader. If this ballast reader comes up red, the meter shows red, then it's most likely a T12. It's something that's running the old magnetic ballast. Okay, and so if it comes up red, it's probably a T12 if it's linear fluorescent, and we would convert that to T8. If it's a T8 lamp, a typical T8 in an office building is a 4-foot long one. Okay, if it's a T8 4 foot long, it's usually going to be a 32-watt light. We can also change those T8s to the new third generation T8, which is a 25-watt lamp. And those ones, because we get a higher CRI and often are using a better Kelvin temperature color, those lights will give better light even though they're only using 25 watts of light instead of 32. Okay, so interior, we're usually going to be going to a fluorescent light. T8 versus T5. We don't T8 and T5 are about the same in efficiency. The T12 is the old inefficient ones. The T8 and the T5 are the more efficient ones. T5 is more of a common standard in Europe. T8 is more common here in the United States. We like to go with the T8 because the lamps are less expensive and they seem to hold up better. The T5 seem to have more problems. We like to look at the T5 as kind of like the Ferrari, and the T8 is more of the Toyota. We like to use the T8 because over time the customer is going to be happy that we put in T8. If the customer already has T5, you don't want to tell them, hey, you guys made a bad decision. T8's a better choice. You don't want to discredit. Somebody sold them a T5, and a T5 is fine. It's a great technology. It's a good, efficient technology. We just like to use the T8 because over time the lamps are less expensive for the customer, and they're going to hold up longer. So we have less failures and less problems for us to deal with as a company. The other area, if you have regular incandescent lights, and they're in a flood shape, which would be an R20, R30, or R40, we would replace those with a compact fluorescent floodlight of an R20, R30, or R40 compact fluorescent. Okay, we have an equation. We use 1/4 of the wattage. So, for instance, if it's a 100-watt R30 incandescent, we'll be changing that to a 25-watt R30 compact fluorescent because it's 1/4 of the wattage produces the same amount of usable light for the customer. So if it's a 60-watt, if it was a 60-watt R20, let's say, we're going to change it to a 15-watt R20 compact fluorescent. Okay, using 1/4 of the wattage. We don't use LEDs so much yet. The LEDs are coming. The only place where we really use the LEDs is in the MR16s. We have a program for that. The MR16s are even smaller than the R20s, and those are typically small halogen lights that could be 25, 35, or 50 watts typically, and we'll replace those with LEDs using 1/5 of the wattage. So for instance, if it's a 50-watt halogen MR16, we'll replace it with a 10 watt LED LED version of those. The other place where we use LEDs is in the cooler cases at stores. Okay, we're replacing in those cooler doors. Those are the vertical ones, like at a 7-Eleven, where you go in to get the beer or the Colt 45 or whatever you like to drink. When you're opening up the cooler case, they'll have T12s or T8s fluorescent in the doors. We'll replace either a T12 or a T8 with an LED, again, vertical door light. Yeah, so, and the ballast reader, again, one thing on the ballast reader is going to tell us whether it's a line power, which is 60 hertz, or something else. So, for instance, if I were to use this on an incandescent light, it will come up red because it's just regular line power. There's no ballast in there. The ballast is converting the hertz of the power to something else. So, for instance, a T8 fluorescent is going to have a ballast that runs 20,000 hertz, something like that, or 30,000 hertz. It will come up green with my meter, and oh, this is coming up red. So it will come up green. If it comes up green, it's because it's not 60 hertz power, it's something else, and in that case it would be a ballast. This is a ballast reader. Basically, it's used to tell you whether it's T12 or T8. It can also tell you whether it's incandescent or if it's a compact fluorescent that's inside of a fixture. Basically, it's telling you whether it's 60 hertz power or it's something else. It's an electronically ballasted product that is going to be using 20,000 hertz or some other level. Okay, great. Good luck.